drawing, shadowing, just adding a little bit, just give it a little bit more depth. I love going out into the world and I love observing. But it's when I come back that I start thinking about it and then put it up on the wall and play with things and move things around and draw on them or cut them up. I don't know what something's going to become. I don't know what a collage is going to become, but I have a sense of it. So the actual physical making of something, over time, things percolate up and you discover where it needs to be. And that's how I use my intuition. Let it guide me as to where I can sort of take the work. Both of the images in these posters come from this body of work called Coming and Going. And Coming and Going I started in 1999 and have been working on ever since. Although I wasn't aware of it at the time, it's basically an autobiographical book about my life. And it's not as if my life in particular is that interesting, but I think that the stories that I try to tell are probably more relatable to other people and universal in that sense. And I think we tell stories to each other to exist. And so we live to tell stories. And I needed to tell this story. So Coming and Going is that. And so I wanted to choose two images that I could add to. A lot of times my process is an additive process, and where I take the photograph and then I collage it, or I draw on it, or add text on it, whatever. And so these were images that I could do that with. The image of the house in the water, that was taken on 4th of July festival, actually in a town on the Russian River called Monterrey. And they were having a water festival, and this was a float of a sinking house. And it was in honor of a flood that happened the year before on the river. And the picture on top of it is a photograph I made 1997, the last day of summer, self-portrait, Polaroid. And I thought that the two of them together made sense because at that time, I was going through a hard time. I was going through a divorce. My family was breaking up. And I felt it was relatable where I was and where that flood of emotions and that sinking feeling that one has when something doesn't go the way that you want. And then the last thing that I do on this is I outline it in red. Trying to be careful not to get too much red on the poster itself. I think that's it. The second image is basically they're cut up contact sheets that I've saved over the years from my work with Raised by Wolves. And Raised by Wolves, there was a lot of discussion about whether to include Raised by Wolves in Coming and Going, because it's not me, but at the same time it was very much me. That work seemed not only of the past, but of the present too. So I wanted to make something that honored that work and the people in it and the dreams that they had and that I had at the time of what it would become. And it became Raised by Wolves. And so I cut those contact sheets up and I put them surrounding a photogram in which the words "My dreams" are written in it. And I thought that was emblematic of all the kids, all the people involved in Raised by Wolves, and the dreams and lost dreams that they had in growing up in a better world for themselves. It's a process.